Hello again, all my American friends, and the thousands and thousands of you that watch my videos. Being sarcastic, obviously, or is it facetious? Facetious. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So the point of this video is to talk about history. And no, I don't want to give you a history lesson, but I am going to attempt to give you a lesson about what history is and how, well, more so, how important it is to record history. And, in the last 400 years, maybe less, we have devices that record it quite well: video, audio, right? Yes, if you wanted to argue, it's not necessarily the safest media. Especially early audio and video, could be very easily manipulated, and I'll give you that because that's just the way it is. I can't dispute that. But let's say, for argument's sake, that recorded history in the last 150, 200 years is reliable, as reliable as anything can be, with all the technology we have today to take truths and manipulate them. Human beings, all, I include myself, I think I'm a human being. We all have the capacity to be deceivers. We learn it as infants, um, so that we're taken care of, we're fed, you know, our diapers are changed, we whine and complain, and we learn to manipulate over time. If our parents aren't wise, we learn things that as we get a little older, that that we can then use against other people to get what we want. I talked about a similar subject, which has nothing to do with this video. I'm regressing as I always do. Excuse me. But anyway, let's get back to the topic. Let's forget all the other crap that I started to talk about. So, the importance of history. There are a lot of reasons why we record our history, and I think, and even if it isn't, in this particular video, I want to talk about the importance of having history, recording history, our past, so that we can then have it there to teach us how not to repeat certain things. A lot of history we record, and great things come from it. The first flight, first, we can look back at that, learn from that, improve upon it. We could also learn from major catastrophes, and we use what we can study from history to avoid future tragedies. You see where I'm going with this? Of course you do. Of course you do. Of course you do, but it seems like the majority of us, again, I say us, I include me, I'm a human. I'm just as fallible as every other human being that's alive now or has ever lived or will ever live. I think, though, what separates some of us is and how we view things is partially to do with the level of conscience that we have. For instance, I often say I don't have the conscience to do certain things because I wouldn't be able to live with myself. I'm not an expert. I don't know why certain people have a higher degree of conscience uh, than others, but it's obvious that that's true. I mean, you don't have to be a genius. You just have to have eyes and ears and the capacity to see what's real, what's truthful, and what isn't. Okay, but right now we're going through a time in this world that is, as we all know, is extremely dangerous. There are things that are happening now that have happened in the past. I refer, of course, to Nazi Germany, Hitler, and people who followed him blindly. Trump, right? Hitler, similar, right? Dictators wanting to control everything. Egos the size of Mount Everest, to the point where, in Trump's case, he'd like to have his. He thinks he and others think it might be a good idea to put his to carve out his face on. I don't know. Sorry, American friends. I can't remember the name of that. Rushmore, Mount Rushmore. There. Yeah, I mean, that in itself, doesn't that tell you something? Doesn't that tell you something? Anyway, maybe it doesn't. The point being is, history is there so that we can learn. Partially, it's there so that we can learn from our mistakes. Right? We see a pattern that in the past, not just Nazi Germany, Mussolini in Italy at around the same time, but you can go back to Caesar, different Caesars that ruled at different times, different ages of Rome, with a similar intent to control all the countries around them, to make them subservient. This is what's going on now, right? Even your in the United States, your three levels of government that are supposed to watch each other, checks and balances, to prevent one from being, too powerful. One thing you have to remember, you got to keep reminding yourself, a leader of a democracy is not above the law. Hitler, through his dealings, through his manipulation, put himself above the law. The Führer, I think that's father, isn't it? Or the primo leader. But that's not how a democracy is supposed to work. Trump is trying to remove your democracy. And there's people that call themselves patriots. Do you know what a patriot really is? A patriot is, the term would be a person, an individual, or a group of people, patriots, who wouldn't allow one man to be above the laws in a democratic society. It's all written out there for you. It's written in your Bill of Rights, your, we the people, right? We the people, not I am the king and you are my people. It's we the people, right? Isn't that, am I wrong? Did I learn? Am I, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe is that not what it says? That the people control what's going on, not a king, a supreme leader. What is a supreme leader? If you don't know, look to your history. Trump was a supreme leader. Khrushchev was a supreme leader. Putin is a supreme leader. If you say anything he doesn't like, whether you're a lawyer, a judge, an extremely wealthy person, or a poor peasant, he can have you dispatched. And I'll use the word dispatched. You put in any word you want to to describe what dispatched is, right? So you are now living in a time of history. This is our history that you can look back at history that's been recorded, and and you can connect the dots. If and I'm going to refer to myself as an imbecile to try to get you to understand. If I were to compare myself to the most intelligent person or people in this world, they would see me somewhat of an imbecile, and I wouldn't be upset at them for thinking I'm an imbecile, because compared, my level of understanding of things, my lack of degrees and PhDs and whatever, they would have a point based on what at their level of intelligence, So I know my place is what I'm trying to tell you. But even with my limited intelligence, compared to people that are, have power, intelligence, levels of intelligence that I'll never have, I'm still able to objectively look at history, recorded history. It's available to you these days. It's like a miracle. It's like magic to me, being a 67-year-old man, that I can sit in front of my computer and have every bit of information that's ever been recorded, pretty much, right? Pretty much available to me to study and come to decisions and understanding. And it's quite obvious to me that we are repeating once again history. I can't remember, where this saying comes from, but if we don't learn from history, I think that's how it goes. You don't learn from history, you are bound to repeat it. And that's exactly what's going on today. It's not exactly, I shouldn't say, the comparison that I make between what's going on with the United States and Nazi Germany and Trump and Hitler, it's not exactly the same, but it's from the same playbook, right? Trump his self-importance is so high, he would never say that he's following, and he's being honest, he would never follow Hitler, but he's smart enough to read the Mein Kampf, which he says he's very proud of that he read. Keeps it by his bedside, I think he said at one time. That he's taking ideas from the playbook of one of the worst dictators that ever existed. A man who murdered 6 million Jews for being Jewish, for simply being Jewish. Well, he did it from, he actually, there's more to it than that. He manipulated his people into believing that all their problems were because of the Jews and the Catholics and the press, and you can't see, you really can't see the connection. If you can't, then you really are a moron. You are utterly stupid. You are less intelligent than me, and I'm an imbecile compared to some. Okay? You're stupider than stupid if you believe that Trump and the people under him are doing any of this for you. I understand that it's hard to try to understand why somebody would totally try to destroy the world. It's simply this: when you don't have a conscience and people give you the power and you already believe that everything you do is correct, everything that you think about, every notion that comes to your mind, you feel that you have the right to follow through with it. Basically that's it. That's no conscience. He can grab a woman by the pussy one day, brag about it to his friend Epstein the next day, say that Epstein was a great man, for instance, and now hide the Epstein files that he knows if he releases in the state they're in right now, you're going to find out more naughty things. But I don't know why he's worried. Fuck, the man's gotten away with everything but murder, and that we know of. And none of you seem to be bothered by all the things that he's done and continues to do. Are you really that stupid? You know what? If you're that stupid, to be honest, even someone like me, who's an imbecile, I can't reach you. I'm if I can't reach you, an ordinary guy, who's just telling you the way it is, with no motive. I really don't have any motive. Even though I wear a hat Canada, well, it's, why not? You wear hats that say mega, so anyway. I realize that every video I make is making probably so little difference in solving these issues that if you were to comment that I'm wasting my time, I'd have to agree with you. But you know what? I'm a stubborn old bastard. And as long as I think that at least one person will benefit by these videos that I put out, even if it's just to let you know what an average person in this country thinks about things, I don't know. I just keep trying. Anyway, it's Tuesday night. We got some snow here in Nova Scotia today. Son of a bitch. I'm never going to be able to get on my motorcycle. I mentioned in another video that I sold my car a while back because it just wasn't practical to have two vehicles. I live by myself. I don't need to have a car and a motorcycle. There's something else you might want to consider, by the way. Living within your means. If you want to get wealthier than you are now, you want to get rid of your debt, live within your means. Slow down. Instead of having 24 beer on the weekend, try having 12, but do it for a year. But don't spend the money. Put the money in a bank account. Do that for a few years. Have some discipline. Now, who am I to tell you to have discipline? I spend pretty much every cent I ever made because I grew up poor. And that's one of the many problems of being poor. You don't, when you do get something, it's like, I don't know, you have to go on a spending spree to make yourself feel better about being poor. Yeah, if it isn't spending money, it's drinking it, whatever. Basically the same thing. All right, that's it. I won't bore you any longer. We'll see you in the next one, hopefully, if I'm still here, if the world is still here. Just don't forget, there are nuclear weapons. It just takes one crazy son of a bitch to push the button. Well, it takes a couple, but you know what I'm trying to say. We're maybe 3 people and a button push away from nuclear war worldwide. Maybe that would be a good thing. It'd be a good thing for planet Earth, that's for damn sure. To get rid of us. We're doing nothing but, as a species, raping this Earth anyway. Come to think of it, I guess we're all rapists in one way or another. Maybe I shouldn't be so hard on Trump. Yeah, there's something to think about. Good night.